Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for this day. I'm blessed to be with people that I'm around. Please bless us on what we're about to talk about. Hopefully we could reach out to some people, help them with their struggles. That's always the goal, is to spread your word, Lord. That's what we want to do. So in your son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Let's go to work.
Welcome back
Perfect.
to Recovery Unfiltered.
There's a song again.
It's Rob and Larry in your ear again. We don't need letters before or after our names. Just two drunks with a lot on our brains. Sit back, relax, let us carry the load. We've walked that dark and winding road. We're just two. Welcome.
I sent that whole song to Bonnie the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't know if she's listened to it or not, but we got the whole. Welcome back.
Welcome
Mr.
back.
Rob. That was a prayer from Logan.
Hey, I want because I'm sure Jim's going to hear it. But Jim sent a text because he didn't get to get on air. So I'm going to hear this. He said, hey, I didn't get a chance to say it on air, and I might have gotten emotional, but Rob, me, I've only met you once in person, but you've been a huge influence on my recovery, and I look up to you more than you know, even though I look down on you. 'Cause I'm taller.
Attaboy, Jim.
Yeah.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
That's fun. You know, if you haven't listened last week, we had Logan, which is Rob's son, on. And that's who said the prayer here to begin with, because we recording 2 episodes here. And Logan, thank you so much. Like I said last week as we were recording, is I didn't know how that was going to go, and I'm very, very happy with that episode. And it's going to be fun, because we had Jim Hart on. Jim has 2 sons of his own. Mm-hmm. We were able to finally do a Zoom one, and I'm not a Zoom. I don't even know what this is called. But
Skype whatever.
We were able to bring Jim in over the internet, which I'm all hardwired in here now, so it's not Wi-Fi. So it recorded very well, and I'm excited for that. We got several people that have asked to be. I got one lady out of Chicago that's wanted to come on. I got another guy out of North Carolina that wants to come on. I got some people that have shown some interest to come on that can't make it to the studio. So I mean, it's fun that we get these people that want to come on and tell their story. And that's the biggest thing, right? I want to hear people's stories. I want to hear how you recovered. I don't want to hear the fucking mess. I don't want to hear messes.
Well, just enough to qualify you, so we know that. Okay, you know what you're talking about. Now let's hear.
Sure.
What are you doing?
Right, and that's all. Because listen, man, there's nothing that your dad and I don't like better than. And this may sound horrible, but we love seeing people broken and in pain. For us, it's
we
like,
smile, especially when they're in the rooms and you can hear it, and we know that because we know the spot when
right.
they're ready for some help. They're ready to receive something.
It's like an artist when he sees this big canvas, right? When he sees this big canvas and that artist looks at it, or a photographer when he sees a sundown or something, he just like, yeah, I'm gonna do some artwork here. God and I are gonna do some artwork right here. You know what I mean? And it's fun because, my attraction to some people is not like your dad, right? Have you ever heard the story How I Met Your Dad? It's very fun.
Yeah.
So your dad walks into a room and he lights up the room, right? And it's what I tried to explain last week, and I got too emotional talking about it, but I'm past it. But when your dad walks into a room, he lights it up. And it's funny is Jay remembers this story. When he was giving me my chip the other night, literally Jay was giving it to me, and he says, when this guy came out of recovery, he came to me first, but I knew I got him so far and he needed something more than what I could give him, so I had to introduce him to another man. That's how he said that. And it was like, Jay knew it, right? And I was the one that was worried whether I was leaving Jay or not. And he's the one that set the whole thing up because he knew I needed more than what, I had my foot on the throttle. I was ready to get sober. And your dad come bebopping into a freaking an AA meeting, and I was like, well, I don't know what that dude's got, but I want every ounce of it, right? I mean, he had beams of sobriety flowing out of him, and it was fun to watch.
And I sat behind him and Katie, and then Jay comes up, hobbling up. Larry, have you met Rob? And I knew who he was because I was a freshman when he was a senior. Katie was a junior. Your Aunt Tammy went to school with Larry. They know Tammy very well.
Me and your aunt has done a little bit of running around. Not that kind of running around, Tammy. But
then Jay introduced us. Hey, Larry, have you met Rob? He turned around, shook my hand, then that fucker dropped his walker, took off running, gave me the bird. He's yours now.
That's fun.
But and he knows Jay and Jeanette very well, so he knows that probably didn't happen that way. That's just the way I like to tell it.
He almost fell.
He's fallen a few times because he's
in the meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, Jim.
Well, not in the
Cade-
meeting at home because he wouldn't use a walker, wouldn't use a cane. You know, pride and ego. Even at 50 years sober.
That had a big old black eye. She had fallen. Yeah, they almost. I worry about them living alone.
Can I tell you a story?
Please
I'm
do.
going to tell you a story.
Whatever. It was Logan's prayer.
Yeah. So my daughter's getting ready to graduate MJC a couple years ago, right before I was getting hip replaced, total hip replacement. And I got, remember I said in the last podcast, I said the only time I've ever heard God, was when the whole Bible thing. But all day, what was going through my head, because I got March 20th, 2024 is when I got a new hip. Going to watch her at MJC, and all day I can hear in my head is death starts in the legs. Death begins in the legs, death starts. That's all I heard. I'm like, damn, where's this coming from? I just heard it. It's just in my mind. So me and my wife were up there sitting, waiting. Logan didn't have to go. Praise God. Anyway, so I'm just sitting there watching, and it's just bugging me. So we're up about 5 rows. All of a sudden, I see a man coming up, older man, limping, slow. Okay. Then behind him, a few people, is a man with a cane. And he's got to sit down at the bottom. And standing out by the cage is a man with a walker. And then it hits me. Death starts in the legs. So when I got my hip, the day before I got my hip is when he, when he challenged me. Hey, Dad, because he already got me in the wrestling match before cancer.
Right.
So I'm getting ready to go get a hip the day before. He goes, hey, Dad, I think I can submit you. I think I can take you jiu-jitsu. And I haven't been doing jiu-jitsu at the time he had. And I, out of shape, bum
Get them
hip.
when they're weak, brother. Get them when they're weak.
Oh, you did it.
He always leaves out of important detail where he probably was talking shit. Let's be honest here. He was probably talking shit, and I was like, all right, let's go do some jujitsu
Yeah.
and see what happens.
He got me.
No way.
He fucking got me.
That's funny.
Yeah. But so, ever since I got the new hip, I've been able to squat over 300 now, deadlift. I really strengthened the legs. Death starts in the legs. And what were we just talking about? People falling down as they get older. And I firmly, because my hip doctor told me this. He says, people don't fall down and break a hip. Usually the hip breaks, and that's why they fall.
Right.
So keep your foundation, like Jesus said, build your foundation on the rock and keep your foundation strong.
Amen.
There you go. So there's my little PBS.
And I'm going to go ahead and say
After school
this
special.
because everybody in this room knows what's happening next Friday, but I haven't really, by the time this airs,
Larry's going to get a penis enlargement.
I've
Some
already
stem
had,
cells or something?
Yes.
I've already had my final surgery, and that's what I am praying, and what Katie's praying for is the final one. And it's just, I had my hip fused on my right hand side, got my
SI
back
joints.
fused, and now I'm having by the time this airs, my left side SI joint will be fused.
You're going to be great.
I pray, right? And I listen. I've said this all along. I have come to the resolution that God has kept me at a very slow pace for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
He really has. Because
When you got 3 years of going to a meeting every day for me was just foundation.
So I really believe this. And do you remember before my big back surgery, how scared I was to be healthy? Right?
Mm-hmm. A healthy Larry, you were terrified.
I was terrified to be healthy. I mean, I dealt with it a lot. Healthy Larry scares the shit out of me. I don't feel that. I don't. I really do not feel that. And I think
growth, baby.
And I think I needed this one more, right? And I truly believe that, and I've never felt this to this point, and I believe this is just that last thing that needs to be taken care of. All of it needed to be done, from the hip replacement to the right side to major, my lower back.
If we're paying attention, God does not waste our pain.
No.
And all that had happened to get you, and then who you are now, compared to who you were before you went to that, who was that one boss that straightened you out a little bit? That humbled you a little bit.
Yeah, the
Perfect.
guy, yeah.
All that, from outside looking in, which is where I'm at, it's easy to see the transition, but it's amazing, and you needed it.
The fun thing about what you just said is literally I spoke to my sponsees this morning, and he's struggling with that same thing I was struggling with when I left my original employer after I came out of recovery, and I went to my second employer, and that guy had to kick my ego down another notch. The sponsee that I'm dealing with is literally dealing with the same exact thing.
There's no accident. God gives us these because there's no accident.
And I tried to explain to him this morning, stand by, brother. Stand by. God ain't done with you.
No.
God ain't done. He's working with you. So
He's doing a work. Let him finish it. He's a
Right.
silversmith.
but man, is he like me? Whoo-wee.
Oh,
Dude,
shit.
is he hard-headed?
Like you were.
oh, yeah, yes. Like I was, and he is hard-headed. God love you, Stand-in. I love you to death.
Oh, yeah.
Whoo, soften up, brother. Soften
He
up.
wait. God will tenderize him.
He is.
If you let
he
it.
is. He's getting there. So my thing today was, and I said this last week, is I wanted Logan not to witness, but something we haven't really dug into. We've talked about this topic a few times in this portion of the book, but it's one of your most passionate things that you talk about in any room when you have the opportunity to do this, right? And I love working through this part with you because of how he interacts and how he breaks this down. And I got talking points that I want to go into. So that at the top of page 64, right?
Mm-hmm.
Though our decision was a vital and crucial step,
Step 3.
it could have little permanent effect unless at once followed by a strenuous effort to face and to be rid of the things in ourselves which had been blocking us. Our liquor was but a symptom, so we had to get down to causes and conditions. And I've heard, we've all heard Rob say that so many times. And although that is just a powerful beginning to that, it's only that to me, when you see runners in the starting block and you hear that gun go off, right? That right there, that paragraph to me is the gun going off, because that right there
That's a good way to put it.
is
That's a good way to put it. I'm going to use that now.
we're getting down to causes and conditions. What I say at the beginning of the podcast, let's go to work. That right there. So we had to get down to the causes and conditions is let's go to work.
Yeah.
Because now it starts.
Well, you remember how you've talked about, and we go through the book as something that won't hit you at 2 years in sobriety. The fourth year you read it, holy shit, I did not even. And there's those God shots, those moments where something happens or something said, like Gary Z telling me not to be, if I want my kids to be like me, don't be like me.
Right.
Those things. And when I was doing my step work and I didn't realize what I was doing, I was doing what I call the Fred Flintstone. Yabba, dabba do, motherfucker, stop it. Take ownership.
Right.
And I didn't know, and Jay, we were already on, because we were going through it, so we were already at the top of page 64. Jay, how Jay is. Read that for me, son. And my dad never called me son. He called me Joe, or he didn't even call me Robert. That's it, Joe. So I read it again. Our liquor's but a symptom, got to get it. And he goes, read that again. Liquor's but a symptom, get down to causes and conditions. Read it the third, and by the third time, I'm not doing the 911 prayer at this time. God, if you get me out of this. Actually, when you say the prayer that you mean and you really want God to answer it, He comes. He comes. The
one right behind me.
And I asked my Lord, in my mind, I was like, Lord, this man's trying to get me to understand what he's getting, and I'm not getting it. Would you please help me? And then just like with the Bible time, the tears and the snot, the ugly crying. Because what that means is, I wasn't the man I was and didn't behave the way I did because I drank and used. I drank and used and behaved the way I did because the kind of man I was. I didn't have a drinking problem. I had a rob problem, but I needed the steps to reveal that man and God's power to restore that man. I didn't, and right, that whole thing flooded me then, and it came out in snot and tears. And then I was telling Jay, I was just like, fuck, I'm horrible. I'm a terrible father. I was just beating that Bible. And then he said, stop me. He says, hold on, son. And he didn't say, no, you're like what my friend, I shared the story with Jennifer, and we'll say her name, because her actual name is Lisa. We'll say her name because it's fucking Lisa. Lives in the Bay Area now. We got sober at the same time. You were too young. Won't remember. Anyway, Jay didn't take that gift of realization from me. He didn't say, no, Rob, you're a good man. Alcohol made you do it. Because I wasn't a good fucking man. Look on this paper. I wasn't the devil either, but that's not a good man. Good people don't do that shit. He said, I've got good news for you. And I'm looking at, 38 years old, wiping the snot. Okay. You don't have to stay that way. You finish this work, you can be different. You can be whatever God wants you to be if you just will humble yourself and realize that's you right now. Yep. That's you. Not you drinking. That's you. Can you own that? Can you live it? Yeah. Okay. Now we'll give you the power to change it.
And that starts this step 3, which is right behind me, which is just a powerful beginning to the steps. Right? 1, 2, and 3, I've heard this in the rooms, is you typically go through 1, 2, and 3 before you even walk into an AA room.
You definitely do step 1 out there with a bottle in your hand.
You should do at least 1 and 2 before you walk in.
Step 3 is a decision.
Right. Step 3 is just the
and
decision.
A prayer.
The recovery requires the action, right? The decision, right?
Great. Go to the bottom of page 63 because
I
that's
got my book. Do you see my fucking book in front of me?
okay. Well, the bottom of page 63 says this. You know, because after you do your third step prayer, right? Because you turn to the top of page 64, which you just read, it says next. Next, we launched out. Like you talking about the starting blocks.
Right.
It says next, we launched out on a course of. I'm not even reading. I'm just quoting. A course of vigorous action. Next, not next month, next year. The next action you take after you do this prayer, get off your fucking knees, get a pen and paper in your hand, and your sponsor's going to tell you what to write. Right. Next, what do we do? Launched out. Listen to the language Bill uses. Let's go. Let's go. Don't fuck around. Let's go.
Recovery requires action.
Because if we sit around, what happens? Life will start getting good. If you just get rid of the booze, you start thinking, maybe I made a bigger deal out of this. And then you go.
Well, it happened to me day 5 of recovery. You know, what you said a minute ago about when you went through that with Jay, that happened with me with Chris in Maynard. Same exact thing. Mine came to me differently when I looked at myself as being a control freak, of trying to control the room that I was in, and I was told to sit the fuck down and shut up. And I'm like, oh, motherfucker, do you know who I am? And it came to me, it realized at that point, and I didn't put into the action until I got past step 3 when I read these, you know, when I read this back here. But when I got that, I knew what I needed to do, right? I knew immediately what I needed to do. That's why I was going so quickly and so fast when I came out of recovery, and why I needed Rob. Jay got me into the starting blocks, right? Chris and Jay got me into the starting blocks. I needed your dad to shoot the gun and get me running down the road. Willpower and intentions did not create a permanent sobriety, right? It didn't. My willpower did not get me permanent sobriety. I had to get down to the action, and I still have to do it every damn day. But
now that where we're at in our lives, it's not about not drinking. We don't think about drinking anymore than we think about breathing. It's about being a man, less fearful, more compassionate, whatever character, whatever we need to work on. That's what we got to get down to those conditions. What's going to make us better, more useful to the next man, to the next woman, to our family. Not about us. That's where the causes and conditions come from now. But to that point, you know, about AA and the homes and growing up with it, what did he do? Oh, did you come to the meeting? You came to the meeting where Logan came?
Which one?
The Monday morning men's meeting. I mean, not Monday, the Monday men's meeting. Were you there?
No, I wasn't. No.
So he had come to a little crossroad in his life, kind of. Right. And he came to Dad, which is, dude, that is one of the greatest compliments. Oh, yeah, when your son feels comfortable enough, come to you and we talk about everything. And I invited him, well, just come to the Monday meeting. And he realized what was kind of lacking, but he had just a little bit, get his spiritual feet wet again, kind of get back to God a little bit deeper and take off. I mean, how great is that? To know when realize that you need something, take action. Okay, let's go find out. Let's go talk to some men, find out what, maybe where it's at, and give me some perspective, and then come about on his own and get back. He's been to church with me now and get back to his faith, and now life's kicking off again. And amazing. But
also that surrendering, when you go and you talked about that doesn't fix everything, right? It's just recognizing it.
Right.
Now you got to go to work.
But what you're doing is you're asking God, hey, Lord, there's something broken in here or something not off. I need you to fix because I can't do that internal stuff. I'm going to say a prayer. I'm going to go take action on that prayer to show you how much I want this, take the action. And then God does the inside stuff. With the book, our book tells us God does for us what we can't do for ourselves. That's not just removing the obsession, which is amazing, but it's all the other inside stuff that all that step 7 stuff. Everything that we put in our 4th and 5th, the fear, resentment, the sexual inventory, all those character defects that we put on paper, we do the 6 and 7, right? Are you ready to have God remove those? Sure am, because obviously I can't do it, or I wouldn't have to do this prayer. I wouldn't have to do these 2 fucking steps if I could do it.
No, sure.
And then that prayer doesn't come to fruition after that. You go do the next work, 8 and 9, and the 9th step promises, even the 10th too, if you break them all down, are the answer to that 7th step prayer. God, here I am. Right, take and remove. Now,
you got to be willing to do that right
you
there.
You have to be willing.
You
to
have to.
And we're not.
If you do it palms down, he ain't taking them.
Right. He's not going to take them all anyway. There's some that he left. He just showed me how to use them. There's some that are still there because I won't fucking give them up.
And
today.
We just talked about
tomorrow
this.
I'll be great. You can have this one, but today I'm taking it back. When that's just human.
We just talked about this on the last episode, that there's things that I haven't turned over, right? Because what did I say? I'm still trying to work it out my way.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I'm still I'm writing letters. I'm doing this and I'm trying to work it out.
I still got a plan.
I still got a plan. We'll work this out myself. And I was, John, thank God I love you, John. But he's made me realize that I got to turn it over. I can't.
You don't have to. You should.
I'm going to. I have, right?
Yeah.
I have. The inventory process requires courage, right? That when we start doing our inventory, same as you did when you said in there, when we recognize that stuff, the courage it takes for us when we start recognizing that stuff inside of us, when we go from step 3 and when the work starts, right? And you got to sit by yourself, right? Sit down and start writing. When you start talking shit about your buddies, right? Now all of a sudden you're talking shit about yourself a little bit. These resentments, and then all these resentments that I have, and then when you get down to that last little column is, what was my part in it? Fuck you, I didn't have a part in it. But yes, you did. Right?
And that's the God column. That's what he wants to know. Right. We know the other shit.
Yeah.
What is your part? What part of that shit sandwich did you make?
Right. That's number 3 over there, baby. Hit that.
Shit sandwich. We didn't have a hand in making.
There you go. That's right there. That's direct Robisms.
Yeah. Everything in our life is a reflection of a choice that we've made. If you want a different reflection, make different fucking choices.
But that's when 99% of the people that say I went to AA and it didn't work,
they didn't work it.
They didn't work it, right? Because when they looked at when their sponsor said, "What was your part in this? We're going to figure out what your part in this. It's time to take some personal inventory." They looked at it and said, "Fuck this. I like who I am."
And if you ever hear someone saying that, that they didn't work for them, and who were we talking to? They said that, and I go, so would when you came in and you tried AA and it didn't work for you, how'd you break down your 4th step? Like the 4th column on the 4th step, what'd that mean to you? And he's like, well, I didn't actually do the work. I didn't actually do the steps, but it just didn't work. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
You didn't do it.
You didn't fucking do it.
Yeah, the light never came on in the room. Did you flip the switch? No. The light never came on.
So I left.
The room, the room was too dark.
And the door was locked when I got there. I saw the circle and the triangle. Well, what time did you go? Well, it wasn't meeting time, but they weren't there, so I left. That's the kind of shit you get. Well, go get drunk. See how that works for you.
Looking inward never. So they have to look inward is harder than stopping the drinking. Right?
That's why we drink. I don't want to look at me.
Right.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Let me go have a drink. I'm fine.
For me, I was taking antidepressants. I was taking the job everybody at work was retarded. I had all this list of shit that was going on, and there's a reason why I had to drink.
My son doesn't want to wrestle, so I got to let him play baseball. Fuck, I'm going to go have a drink.
Alcohol.
It's your fault.
The alcohol was covering up some issues that we just didn't want to face.
Right.
We just did not want to face.
Adulthood was calling, and we weren't ready.
But
we thought we were.
The weakness, to me, it was a cop out. It was just a straight cop out. And here's the sad part about it. The repercussions. I didn't have a DUI. I didn't have any of that stuff. I never had any of them.
All the yets that a lot of us had.
I didn't have any of those yets. But what I had going on in my life was my wife no longer respecting me. My kids no longer respecting me. Starting to lose some respect from people in the industry that I work in. I was starting to lose some of that, but none of that shit meant I stopped. My bar of how I gave a shit was lowering and lowering and lowering. And
just past the point where we could still drink,
And it wasn't very far before getting a DUI. It didn't mean shit to me either, right? I wasn't too far from that. And thank God that, that my Eskimo, as Jim said yesterday, my Eskimo came to me before I got there. And my Eskimo came to me from my son-in-law not taking my phone call, right? Which is, holy shit, I think I may have a problem. Then I go into recovery, and I didn't want to, once I got sober, I was okay. Now I was looking for a way to get home. How am I going to get home? How am I going to spin this that I'm okay now? And I can go home and I'll drink like a gentleman at this point. Until somebody turns some chairs around on me and I realize, fuck me, I'm loaded with resentments. I'm loaded with fears. I have all this shame. My ego is bigger than anything can even fathom. And I hated arrogant people. I was dishonest as they come because I was lying to my wife so much. I may or may not have had a control problem. Maybe. just something in me was. I was even trying.
We'll do some step work on that.
I was even trying to control some stuff for Katie this morning. It was freaking hilarious, baby. It was fucking hilarious. She's like, I was just doing it your way, and I'm like, yeah, well, it was better if I told you how to do it. And selfish, holy shit. Those things.
That is the fear and selfishness, dude. That is and self-pity. The alcoholic is pathetic. But what breaks my heart for me, because sometimes I really got to, because now that we're on the other side of things, right? And the longer we stay on the other side of things, which is awesome, I'm finding myself having less and less patience with the wet. The ones that are kind of going out. Yeah. And I need to have more compassion, because I understand, it's a disease, dis-ease. I get all that because I was one. I am one. I'm just recovered. However, and God's really helping me with, because what I told one today, there was no, everything I said was correct. I'm not going to even apologize, because everything I said was correct, and there was not a lick of compassion in what I said, because I don't think that's what he needs right now. What he needs is a kick in the ass, and whether it does any good or not, but no sugarcoat today. And I was like, man, is that the right? Yeah. But you would have been like that since the start, kind of. Yeah, his first policy, son.
I got him the fuck out of
here. He chased him out of his door. He chased him out of the house, slammed the door. Get the fuck out of my house. He did.
I don't have a lot of tolerance for
bullshit.
That. I don't.
He wasn't taking accountability.
No, he wasn't.
Which is what pisses us off the most. I think that's it. It's not just they're going drinking again. It's the fact that they know, and they won't own their own shit. It's your fault. It's his fault. It's Katie's fault. It ain't me. It can't be, motherfucker. It's not even a bit. It's not even a bit you.
I was trying to go back in my text with you this morning, because I was trying to get you to come around to I'm not chasing him anymore. And not that you were chasing him, but when your 4 rules is don't waste my fucking time,
You're
don't
right.
waste my time, and don't waste my time.
That's what I was trying to get
you.
Yeah.
I was trying to get you to understand he was wasting your fucking time.
Yeah.
Time to go on. You know what? And the one thing that I love about Rob is he will give his time to anybody. But for me and Bonnie that love him to the ends of the world, and like you two, when people waste his time, whoo, buddy, I'm going to tell you right now, it pisses me the fuck off. Pisses me off. Because I don't want him, he gets wore down, he gets tired, because he allows himself to give 120% of him to whoever. And when I see people wasting his time, motherfucker, it pisses me off, right? And I was trying to get your dad, and your dad don't recognize that.
Sometimes.
It almost makes you more mad than him.
Yeah, I was fucking livid when he said this one guy was out drinking again. I'm like, fuck that guy. Fuck him. He ain't never, I'm over it. You need to be over it, motherfucker.
Right.
And then when I was trying to get him to recognize it, and without telling him in those direct words, I'm like, this isn't for me to tell him. It's not. I had to back off, because then I become an overbearing friend, and I don't want to be that.
But then there's those times, with those certain, like the one guy, we'll say, Byron, he don't listen to this anyway. But the way he did it, it was easy for me to let that go, because that's just disrespect and wasting my time.
Right.
When this one here is just maybe if I give one, maybe this one time he'll get it.
But you did the same thing with Byron.
I know. And I'm working on it. Those are the only 2. I know.
I hope you had the camera on that right
I know. But I'm hopeful. I mean, and that's kind of I need to. Where I was rough with him today, and what I told him, and that I'm sure it stung. I really don't care, but I'm not ready to give up on him.
But it ain't for you to be ready to let go of it, right?
Well, I know,
you
but
know that better than anybody else.
I know, but maybe this time.
Maybe this time.
Well, okay. I'll tell you what I'll do then. Instead of, I'll go buy him his favorite drink. I'll go buy his favorite brand and just finish this and drink all this. Drink as much as this until you fucking get enough pain. I don't know.
I
have a hard time.
I don't remember.
Maybe I should get rid of Rule 4. Because there's been some I fired.
Listen, you don't need to get rid of Rule 4.
I said,
you need to start putting it into place.
Yeah,
right.
But the last 2 I haven't.
Because
You're right.
Logan, if your dad said he was going to whoop your ass if you didn't stop doing what you're doing, did he whoop your ass?
He would.
There you go. When you tell somebody don't waste my fucking time, the first time they waste your fucking time, bounce. Fuck you. And if you want to come back into my good graces, work your ass back into my good graces, because I'm going to tell you right now, people should be blessed to have them walk you through the steps. Now,
Well, but you're right about one thing. You're absolutely right. If I'm going to have that rule, which I've abided by it for 14 some years, but you're right. A couple I've let slip. If I'm going to use the rule, I should abide by it.
Now, if the listeners are saying I'm on his ass a little bit and kissing his ass, fuck it, I am. The man will get you through the steps. When you get through it, you may have to go back through it again, right? Just like I'm having to do again. Fear was not a part of my first inventory, part of my first steps with your dad. Fear was not there. I didn't do it. There was a lot of low-hanging stuff that I had to get rid of immediately. And as I went through things and as we get further into our sobriety, other things come up. And I realized I still had a lot of fear inside me. And I'd heard your dad say it multiple times. We don't live on fear. We don't make decisions on fear. We don't do anything on fear. I'm sure you've heard that.
That's a big one in our house. Yeah.
It is.
That's a big one.
And I never approached it in my recovery. I stayed away from it. There's a lot of things.
We did a little bit. You did a fear inventory, but just what it wasn't.
I didn't take it seriously.
Well, but it wasn't what you. Right. It wasn't your low hanging fruit at the time. That's all.
And this my next point is recovery is not just identifying our defects, right? It's the willingness to give them over and to go past them, right? That's when it starts.
So let me ask you something. Because you've been around this. What are some things in your life right now that you think you need to work on? I mean, as far as growing into the next step in adulthood, the next step in manhood, as far as personality, maybe character trait. What is your strongest trait? What is your weakest trait? Something you think you need to work on?
I would say my weakest trait for sure is talking to people. I feel like I'm like the opposite of you almost. I'm extremely introverted.
He is.
Almost too much sometimes. I'm getting better, and I have people in my life who do help me get better with that. But
I think what's helping you out, Logan, is you're getting life lessons more now away from dad, away from mom, right? Yeah. You're spending a lot of time up north working right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're having to be a man right now, right? So that's going to require you to come out of that shell. It's going to require a little bit more out of you. I mean,
well, it'll benefit you to be more like
absolutely
right.
I don't
want to get walked on. You know what I mean?
Like, absolutely.
That's the point where I'm trying. You're either going to fight or get fought, one or the other, right? So I mean, which one do you want? And you definitely don't want to be that fucking pincushion sitting in the side of the room while everybody's throwing shit at you for you to go do. At some point, you got to go. Hold on, that's not my job.
Right.
That's not me. That's not my job. Go do your job. Don't put your shit on me. Right. So that you're going to learn that, especially in the fields you're in. Trust me, you're going to learn that quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
What are your strengths?
My strengths. Like when it comes to what?
Life, anything. Outlook. What do your friends come, like your buddies, when you guys are sitting around, whether drinking or whatever you guys are doing, and you're talking about life, because I know you and I've talked about God stuff and things that your friends have brought to you. When your friends come to you about? What do they lean on you for? Stability, because I mean, when I did some step work last time, I did a fear inventory. I took it straight to you. Because it came to competition and losing, that stuff. I brought it to you too, but I went to my son first.
You know what the crazy thing is they actually come to the guy who's never been in a relationship. I've never been in a relationship, but about their women problems. I don't talk to women, but I think I'm like good when it comes to reading people or
you're very good,
knowing how to treat people. Maybe I don't know, but I feel like I give some pretty good advice when it comes to being a good person.
Well, yeah.
No, and that's probably very true because, so what do they say that you sit back and you observe that introverts
and he does. He watches and
introverts have a positive to being that way, right? Yeah. Because they're very observant. Most introverts I know are extremely observant, right? And it's
but he also, even to me, even his mom, he never gives advice willy-nilly. It's always thoughtful. He thinks about it, and it's always good, sound advice usually.
Not gonna lie to you, I think that's a good trait. I think that's something I picked up from him. Is like if you ask me something, I don't like to bullshit around the answer. You know what I mean? Just I'm gonna give it to you because it's gonna be what's best for you.
Well, and listen, 9 times out of 10 when I ask somebody's opinion and they give me some fucking textbook, something that they read, I'm like, yeah, I don't.
See, I
can read bullshit.
Before I ask someone's, I mean, I don't ask just anybody their opinion anymore.
I know, but when people try to, let me read. when you're talking and somebody tries to offer you an opinion when it's unsolicited, those are the ones that scare the shit out of me. And I look at them like, nah. Anyways, so letting go can feel vulnerable and unfamiliar to a lot of people, right? To let go, that was my biggest hurdle was.
Because what if God's plans are not the same as my plans for my kids? You know, what if God's plans are the different from my plans, from whatever I'm letting go of, from whatever I've given over? That's the fear for me.
Yes. So I never really put it into that. For me is what if letting go of my finances to let my wife take over it, letting go of everything at work to let somebody else take another, letting go. I'm going to put it turn it over to God, right? There's just so much that I had to let go of physically before I can even begin to turn it over to God, right?
Okay.
I had to learn how to do that with stuff like, here, I'm going to let you hold on to this, right? Before, I'm going to let you take control of this personal thing of mine. And once I learned to let that stuff go, gently, I was able to turn other things over to God. My relationship with my wife, my relationship with work, where my job's going to take me, how my job's going to take me, letting a man cut me open and work on my spinal cord that could cripple me and injure me and take me out. Holy cow.
But think about this, the amount of pain you had to be in to finally,
oh God,
but
crippled.
Pain is the greatest motivator in the world.
Actually, I said that to somebody else the other day, that you'll be motivated. The more pain you get in, the quicker you're going to get this done. I can promise you that, right? And they're like, it was not even anything to do with this. It was something to do with work, right? I mean, I don't want to do this. Well, the longer you let it go, the more it's going to hurt to get, the more it's going to hurt if you just don't get it done now. Mm-hmm. Fear, resentment, self-centeredness, anxiety. What's caused us to drink is fear and resentment, self-centeredness, anxiety, need for control, lack of self-worth. That was a big one for me, right? I didn't realize that one until I was sober, like 3 years. The lack of self-worth, because everything I did was
to prove to somebody
else.
Look what
right? Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And that's because I never had that, I never had
any positive affirmation.
No, from anybody.
But I didn't have, like your brother did, why can't you be more like so-and-so? Why can't you have that in your life? Then I'll show you. I'll go be, and then you monetarily or whatever, stature, just to, and that's just low self-worth, low self-esteem. You don't.
And you're going to hear that a lot in the rooms, right? I didn't feel.
How about not being comfortable in your own skin?
Right.
That's huge. That was me.
Every alcoholic. I have never yet hear an alcoholic go, I was perfectly fine with myself. I loved myself.
And I came into the rooms great
on
a winning streak. I was kicking ass. I just won the lottery, and here I am to get sober. Fuck you guys.
Yeah. So, these are
you don't hear that.
Like I said, I got a list of some other stuff here that we've gone through, but I wanted to our liquor was but a symptom. Alcohol was not the root of our problem. Drinking was often the solution. We used the real issue is often spiritual and emotional unrest. I like that word, spiritual unrest. And that was very, I was like your dad. I had a lot of God in me, right? A lot of God in my brain. I didn't let him
anywhere near my heart.
Right. I didn't let him in there because heaven forbid I turn that over to somebody else besides me.
I believed him. I believed in him, but I didn't trust him.
I didn't trust him for nothing. I said that to somebody the other day. This takes practice. The more you practice it, the easier it gets, right? Turn over little things, right? Turn over little things. If that's the way
for a little bit of time.
Right. And if that's the way you got to do it that way. Turn over little things for a little bit, because if God trusts you with little things, he's going to give you big things, right? And I believe that's going forward, right? If somebody says, I'll be loyal to you, well, let me put it another way. We have, in my industry, we have customers that are loyal to certain other companies. And one of my favorite saying is when one of my salesmen comes to me and says, well, he's very loyal to so-and-so. I go, really? Have you asked him how loyal so-and-so is to him, right? Tell him to check his pricing. Tell him to see how loyal that company is to him, right? Because it's one thing to be loyal to somebody, but is it loyal to be back? So what that means is for me to trust that God's going to do something, I personally need to witness it. I need to feel it. I need to see his response. And oh my God, when you feel it and you see that response, and the more you give to him and the more he gives back. Doug said it yesterday, right? The more I gave, the more I got.
You can't outgive God.
No.
He's going to show you.
Yeah, he's just going to keep giving and keep giving and keep giving. And until, you know, and if you're not willing, if you know, he's going to know your willingness. He's going to see it. If you're not willing to give him everything, he doesn't have to give you shit. Right? And I think that's just the key to that, is just, you know, that's where that whole thing starts, right? Is when we get into that, we had to get down to causes and conditions. You know, when you said that about your sponsee that we talked about this morning, right? That's what made me bring up to this. He ain't willing. He ain't ready.
No, he's not ready.
Not ready.
But the sad thing is, and what I think I give him, not I think I know, and it's, and what am I say? What's rule number one? You know, as far as what my dad, you know, the man's always good as his word. And I say, if you waste my fucking time, anyway. Right. He's got two young ones that were Logan's age, right? He's a son and daughter that were his age, and if he could just get it, they'll never. And I know it's, you know,
it's not up to you.
I know
it's not up to you.
But maybe that's why I'm showing a little more grace. I don't know. I know.
But to what it costs to you?
Yeah.
What cost to you are you going to continue to do that? And you can't shrug your shoulders and say, because the time he's taken from you, you can give to another man that wants it.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
Or you can give it back to Bonnie, or you can give it back to Logan, or you can give it to Emily. He's taking your fucking time, and your time's worth it. Your time is worth something.
Right. I'll fire his ass when I see him.
Fuck. It's frustrating to me. And I think that's why I have such a hard time about sponsoring, is because I value my moments. I value those. I said this in a text a while back. One of the most valuable things I heard in my recovery came from the wife of one of our brothers. And she's not even in recovery. She said, be in the moment. Be right now. And your time's worth something. That was Kim Ryan. When she said that, I was like, holy shit, you're right. Be in the moment right now. Your time is worth something. And that just flipped for me. That flipped for me. And I'm not willing to give my time up for somebody that don't give a shit. Right? That goes in work. That goes in my home life.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Let me play devil's advocate. If I'm still willing to put in my time, does that mean he hasn't wasted it yet? In my mind. If I'm still willing to put in the time.
From your perspective.
From my perspective. Because you know... Because when
that wife, is that her perspective?
Yes, she will. Because she'll say yes because there's kids involved. She'll say yes, keep.
Okay.
Because when the lights turn on, when it finally clicks, man, that's and you see that family restored. What a gift!
I get it.
What a
Rob,
gift!
You're
I know.
You're preaching.
I'll fire the motherfucker tomorrow.
I ain't asking you to do that.
I know.
I'm asking you to remind him.
Yeah.
It's your fucking time he's wasting. Right. And how much longer are you going to be
recording this? He's got those nice glasses that record things. He's probably recording this whole thing. We're going to be on TikTok.
No, I have not been recording it.
I put you on TikTok every week, just so you know.
Are you really? I'm on TikTok, son. I'm
all right, I think we beat this one up. Rob, once again, I appreciate you. I
love you, buddy.
We will be recording close to your birthday.
Hey, my birthday is also the day he started his career.
Being an electrician, yeah.
The electrician.
No, you know what? It is right. That's when you brought your yep. So that's right. So it'll
be 2 years.
2 years in June.
And you're apprentice now, and have you started the journeyman level yet?
No, so basically how it works is I'll be going to school and working. So like I go to school once a week and I work every day, and I have to reach a certain amount of hours. So once I hit I think it's 8,000 hours of work hours, then I could take my journeyman test. So right now I'm basically just I'm probably somewhere around halfway there, maybe a little over, a little under, depending on how much overtime I've worked, to that 8,000 hours. And then once I get that, I could get that license, which is the important part.
We record again on June 31st, which is actually your last day you took a drink. You called
actually 28. May 28th is no, you're fucking right. Because I got sober for a few days.
Say that again.
You're fucking right.
One more time.
Larry's fucking right on this. He's accurate, 100% accurate. My last drink because I had stopped for 3 days. I dried out, and then we called Mainers, and they asked me how the shakes were. I said, "What do you think they are? I haven't had a drink in 3 days, lady." She told my wife, she told me, "You need to get some alcohol in you. I don't want you to come up here and for the stress or just added stress." So I go, "Here, added my phone to your mom." Then
they said I need a drink.
Well, she goes, "I need you to stop by and get your husband." She says, "What the fuck?"
We just dried his ass out.
She goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Your mom. Put a drink in. So they did. That was actually my last drink. So June 1st was actually my first day of continuous sobriety.
All right, baby. Get us out of here.
Podcast. If you'd like to reach out to us, please email us at recoveryunfilteredpodcast@gmail.com.